I would like to introduce, actually from the brochure, then you just find 4 people per person, but you'll find just 2 persons here. Why there's just 2 persons? Because one of the speakers, Birdman, is just her wife. His wife is just got a baby, and also another speaker, PK, simply his girlfriend is just back to Taiwan. So both of them is. The reason cannot come here is because of women. So it's a very happy moment, right? So anyway, this time I and Benson will take over 2 hours. But you know, we cannot spend 2 hours because we are not the style reading the slides. If we go for some kind of reading slides, we will not be on the stage. So we have some kind of demonstration, okay? And also some tools for you to play with, okay? And some case studies for you to take a look, okay? Maybe let's start. First of all, I'm Anthony. Here's Benson Wu. Then also our research founders is Jeremy Chiu is Birdman. His alias is Birdman, and also another independent security researcher, PK. Okay, we need to have a disclaimer. There's no national secrets here. Okay? We welcome spies, secret service, intelligence for instructions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No any Taiwanese spy or Chinese spy, Russian spy, no? Raise your hand, no? I'll give you a cake, okay? A pony, okay? Okay, there's a cake for you then. Okay, thank you very much, thank you. Advertisement time. It's always, you got a movie, you have an advertisement, right? Okay, I need to advertise Truth Group members. Actually, it's a Taiwanese very famous security and hacking groups. He starts from 2004 and focus on security and hacking studies. And he's just the sponsor or just the supporting organization this year for Blackhat USA 2011. And also, he has 2 speakers speaking 2 days ago on about exploitation on the malicious document. Also, there's another conference, is a Hack in Taiwan conference. Then is the largest scale of the hacking conference in Taiwan. Actually talks, war game, and food. Come on, come here, right? Even I come from Hong Kong, man. But it's good. I went there for 2 times, but the atmosphere, professionalism, everything is good, and got some kind of English interpretation. Then happen on every July, okay? And there's a link for you for reference. I founded the group since 2009. Actually I founded this group because I'm inspired by DEFCON. Because DEFCON is really a cool conference with contests, with many talks, and with many people to meet up. You're nice, and also with drinks. So that's really good conference. I could say it's an international conference. So I back to Hong Kong and then hold a group to organize more hacking security research studies. And we have just published some papers like the Facebook forensics and kinds of web app security feng shui for Macau and Hong Kong. You know feng shui? Do you know feng shui? Okay, no feng shui? Or put a stone in the door, something like you make you wealthy, something like that. Okay, don't trust it, I don't know. And also there's case studies about, I investigate into a case about the lost the money for the bank children. The title is $1 Million Lost in a Minute. So just feel free to visit our sites then. And also I want to promote the Wellsmith because he partners with me and Colin Ames last year to give this kind of talk about the China-made malware. Thank you very much. And they have a blog in attackresearch.com. Then I suppose it's a very insightful blog. That's enough, Anthony, right? Let's start, okay? Last year, Wellsmith, Colin Ames, and I worked together analyzing China-made malware. We would like this year continue this effort. This year, then, we deal with many target attacks. Actually, Benson, Birdman, and PK comes from Taiwan. For me, comes from Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, there are also some kind of target attack, not just Taiwan. Okay, we are not alone, man. Taiwan is also the major, and Hong Kong is also the major being the target, being attacked. Then we would like to be happy to be present here, and we are selected in the first round in the DEFCON, but we are rejected at Blackhat. Their reason is we are curious about your automatic analysis. Any review committee board in Blackhat from here? Because Jeff told me there's 400 and 500 review board members. Okay, I give the kick to him. Okay, just a lazy kick. And reference talk is TT and also Laniker present 2 days ago about reference of target attack, modern document exploit techniques, and also the next session is Marut about leaky PDF. So it is more than just like a collection. So I would like to you have kinds of put it all together to different focus, okay? Oh, introduce myself. Myself, you call me Anthony, or you call me Dark Void, because just kinds of handle. And works on code audit, penetration test, crime investigation, and being consultant, anything. And teaching like in the Polytechnic University in Hong Kong, and spoken in last year, and being guest instructor in the technical exploitation in the Blackhat USA course. Oh, yeah, I left Benson to introduce himself.
Yeah, my name is Benson. Berman and then PK and I, we are all from Taiwan, and we are from the same lab called Xecure lab. Well, the truth that they couldn't come actually is because it's really expensive to come over to Las Vegas. It costs us like, more than $2,000 just for the air flight. Well, we can only afford one of us to come over. And we study a lot about APT since starting this year. Before that, we actually do a lot of commercial products. But then we feel that APT is so serious that we want to really focus on APT starting this year. So beginning this year, you will see more and more stuff that we will develop, and then we would like to share with the community. So the tool that we cannot disclose here is freely available online. And then if you guys receive any sample that you think that is from the APT group, then you can just scan online. It's totally free. I also would like to mention that I'm from an academic background, and even though I have some diploma before, but that doesn't stop me from being hacked. I remember that when I was in the university doing my master, and my friends in the National Security Agency told me that, hey, Benson, I found one of your computer in the enemy's CNC servers. And I was really surprised because I thought that I can protect my machine well. So that actually taught me a lesson that diploma doesn't give you anything when it's on the cyber warfare. So I really feel that, well, you have to equip yourself with some hands-on when it's about cyber warfare. That's why later on we end up doing a lot of commercial products and then a lot of research on these kind of stuffs, rather than simply publishing papers. Okay.
Thank you, Benson. Actually, he has not introduced himself, just academic background, okay. But he is very good at code threat analysis. We work out for the Xecure lab in Taiwan, between Hong Kong and Taiwan. We'd like to contribute this kind of research and service. Birdman, you can't see his face. He's always like that. Not really strange. But I don't know how can get this kind of hat, but anyway. He very expertise in the Win32 and Linux background platforms on the Windows programmings. He is the first one in Taiwan to spread out, but he produced kinds of Trojan or bird spy, and being manipulated by other people and spread out in the wild. And Taiwanese police catching up, and after a while, then the police said, okay, we released you then, okay? The idea is, please help us for investigation in the future. So 3 members, 3 employees, that's good. To do the forensics, assist some kinds of digital forensics and investigation instance response. And he's good for rootkit backdoor design. he's a good man, okay? Even he's doing a lot of evil design, but he do a lot of training, okay? PK, and he's from law enforcement, and also he's the independent security researchers. He's also good at system programming, Windows programming, forensics, and he has done develop a software called MPA Scan. MPA is a police force in Taiwan, so it could be downloadable in the Taiwan police website. But I know some kinds of reason some people target this software for attack. But he's a very nice, very expertise reverse engineer and system programmers. Okay, start our agenda. I spent 5 to 10 minutes to introduction then. APT stuff is I don't know the terms comes from, but it is easy for people to say it is a target attack. But every attack target person may be quite advanced, but it's specialized target for a specific company, organization, and also it's organized from a group organized attack parties. Other than providing the case studies, I would like to present and analyze the APT from malicious email documents throughout our automatic analysis. Okay, and later on, Benson will present about the DNA clustering of different APT task force. For example, you have some bad trial society like 14K, different K, okay, different trial society parties. Then it is the same ideas of this different APT task force here. We have observed there are 3 major types of the target attack email. For example, the phishing mails. You get a username, ID, and password, and also when you could get an email with some malicious script when you open some emails, maybe execute some malicious script, or even some documents, and then you deploy the malware and become a botnet and contact the CNC server for further compromise. This is what we have observed. The table is damn small here, but anyway, but we have got a difference here. This pen is very powerful, okay? You can hear, right? Right. This was there's this column, okay, APT botnet activities. This column is traditional botnet activities. Actually, for distribution, for the APT, I talk about, for example, APT botnet activities, more organized run, and also not cause any damage. If damage your machine, they have no games to pay, right? And they, of course, target for a specific group and also for a particular company. And the effective duration of the attack group is very long. It's very long, for long duration. And the frequency, many times, because they would like to launch it from different perspective, maybe the same dropper, but in different email formats. Their reference is more than 0 days, and some dropping the embedded malware. And finally, the detection rates in the antivirus software is less than 10%. Okay, exciting part is coming. Case studies against a political party in Hong Kong. Okay, we're calling from Mr. X. He always wakes me up at 6 o'clock. I don't know why he wakes me up at 6 o'clock for calling me for help like that. Okay, Mr. X is one of the key person from of our political party. It's like a democracy party. He dropped us an email. He feels suspicious, like the attachment called meeting.zip and also minutes.zip something. And it contains 2 files. One is the agenda.doc and also minutes.doc. And why he feels suspicious? Because he just gave the meeting yesterday before he received the email, and he got this document. It's is in coincidence. So he looks like a member meeting agenda. However, it targets all the committee's members in the meeting. And Mr. X also said he got this kind of mails before 4th of June, 1st of July, and before any legislative council member election. You know, 4th of June is kinds of Tiananmen incident, and 1st of July is kinds of a day Hong Kong return to China. So it's very regular. Instead of some October, because those guys may be on vacation, on holidays, so they did not launch any target attack because they need to on vacation as well, okay? So I run the very brief analysis in our Xecure secure analyzer engine, but actually this is not a document, it's a PE file, okay? And also it's a dropper files, and it creates the minutes.doc is a document shortcut file, and which triggers to execute the agenda.doc. Okay, this is our engine, one of the screenshots. Then you will find that from the startup folder, okay, I point here, startup folder, once you execute, it creates another file, i.e. check.exe. And then afterwards, it generates the code, generates the DLL, MSVCR. It looks like very legitimate DLL files, but it isn't, right? And inject into the explorer.exe for kinds of injection, DLL injection. Then it collects network different CNC servers here. So let me show you. Yeah, because of time, there's no time limitation because, yeah. Then you'll find it here. This is our agenda doc, okay? I want to zoom it because I'm quite sure you can see it at the end, in the back, and the doc, and I've submitted. This, yeah, from Hong Kong. The CNC server is from Hong Kong. Hong Kong is other than shopping center. It's also a CNC heaven, okay? Yeah, come to Hong Kong, okay? Deploy the CNC server. And then you will find a report here. Oh. Okay? As what I capture in my slide, but anyway, here is what we have shown and analyzed. Because if every time you need to put up the VM and get the analysis, then it's a boring job, right? Every time you put up a VM, every time you run the executable, for every samples, I don't think it's fun, right? So we do it on the automatic analysis. Blackhat, have you seen it? Yeah, thank you. But it's not our core dish or main dishes, okay? But just like that. What? How long? How long? Maybe just 30 seconds to 1 minute. It's not bad then. Then go for a cup noodles, then back, then the results comes out. Okay, back to the slide. Well, here is quite very silent. Yesterday, in my hotel room, there's a lot of rock music underground, and the woman shouts, man shouts, wow, over the night. Then it's amazing. I don't, yeah, shouts from the other rooms. I can't sleep actually. So analyze our analysis, the CNC location. You find it from Hong Kong. And the post is 8080. Actually, the case is still alive. The CNC server is still here. So I'm not announcing here because we are writing a paper. Then we'll submit to the forensics and some conference and malware conference. Then before the law enforcement just join in to influence our result. Some traditional intelligence of analyze the malware, like the use the capture bat, what files is create, what files is delete, right? And also like what kind, yeah, it supports what I've told you about our analyzer, what files is added by the system after the malware executed, and you prove it. And also like IPsec step.dat is added to the explorer.exe to kinds of encryption for the IPsec channel to back to the CNC servers. Okay, some files added. I don't go through it but I would like to see that like that they simply generated the MSVCR, but the file is not like that. It should be MSCVR, right? If the file is legitimate and is approved by the Microsoft, is signed by Microsoft, the name is quite confusing, and different files are added here. So afterwards, the agenda.doc is deleted. We have got some analysis. Okay, he targets QQ. Anyone have QQ? Anyone have QQ? Anyone? No one? I would like to give up the cake. Oh, no QQ, okay. But if you go to China, if you need to make friends in China, you need a QQ, okay? The first thing is like the ICQ, like the instant messenger, you need a QQ. And QQ can do anything, including to remote control software, okay? They have some capability to control remote software computer, and also it could also to capture some screens or send message, send file, yeah. And many children writers focus and take the advantage of the function of the QQ. And also false mail. False mail is also like here, false mail is also like a China prevalent mail service. Of course, we have our good friends, Messenger. Yeah, Messenger is also our good friends to the attack target. So also then, it proves it injected to the explorer.exe. Not a surprise, but I would like to see. DLL, you know this Chinese word. It's kind of DLL, injection failure. It's written in Chinese. That's good. They make the programmers give the comment. Give a comment to say the DLL injection failed in Chinese. I like it. I like the comments. Well documentation. And also, as you say, you find it. I got, right here is the explorer.exe, but besides, there's his brother, SVC host. Why? When I analyze the sample, I can't find any injection to the SVC host. I will tell you later. Okay, the agenda.doc is nothing special. It's just a dropper. Okay, create an IE, iCheck.exe, copy the files, ws2 help.pnf to the application data folder, change the less.exe, and generate the msvcr.dll, malicious DLL, and inject to the explorer.exe. And there's a create mutex. It's very strange, you know. They will create mutex, but it's common for a software to create different thread when running the programs. And of course, some traditional checking, like check whether they have a Kaspersky or have any log32. I don't want to show here, but target the QQ, MSN, Sina, Falsemail, and Hotmail. And also, they use XOR encoding only. They don't use very complicated encoding or encryption scheme, because if you do some very complicated encoding scheme, it will be detected, most likely detected by the IPS or some detection by the IPS or network detection monitoring. Let me check. It's here. But you know, it's quite difficult, you know. I'm here, the screen is there, but it comes to point here. But anyway, show it like to, wait, oh, sorry. Something that is encoded. This XOR is here, the XOR. Wow, you need to have a teroscope. Have you got a teroscope? Actually, DEFCON should supply it, I know. Then there's an encode here, then looping. And then you find the words is decoded here. Actually, every time you send out the traffic, they will encode the traffic, and once they receive it, they will decode it. They don't do any complicated encryption. Okay. Once we have figure out the scheme, then we find out they get the host name and also the OS type and the patch level. Then there should be more information sent to the CNC server. And also, this is the most humble day, most humble of my day because you know we found the .bmp files compressed in a .cap file under application folder. However, we are doing screen capture by Wireshark, but it is captured by the software and sent back to the CNC server. so this is the screenshot. We do the sniffing the network, use the Wireshark, but send back to the CNC server. Damn it. Okay, digging into the tiger's mouth. Okay, some more than that, like if you do the analysis, most likely you just analyze the dropper, right? You go to the different threat expert, whatever different online sandbox. They just analyze the dropper files, and they will not carry out further analysis. So we carry out further analysis and try to install the QQ, MSN, and see what's going on. And we find that more binaries have been downloaded to the Windows debug folder. And also malware creates more files in the Windows debug data folders as well. But those files, after those files executed, it will be removed shortly, okay? And also they send back to the CNC server in different compressed format. So we found it. Those CNC servers send an instruction to the victim machine to compress the files and send them back to the CNC server. That's also quite interesting is that the traffic sequence number they set by the CNC server. If you have been infected before, if you would like to try it out, to analyze, then the binaries will not be downloaded again. But it is not a surprise, but they have the sequence number to control. So we need to change the registry to blank out that sequence number. It's set in the registry. So it is quite tricky. And also they have put those files in the cap compressed file, but they put the .dll files, different DLL files, and compressed in cap files. However, after we decompress the cap file, we got different SAM system information from the victim machines from those DLL files. Okay, let's see like that. We find this. This like a drive file in the .cap file. They capture everything, all your files, the path, and also this. This password. Donald Zheng is not our member. He's just the chief executive of Hong Kong. Okay, we just take him as a fake email address. Okay, then it's better, right? So you find that they have put it in this kind of test format without encryption. After carrying out the dynamic analysis, we got 3 more binaries. We got it. With these 3 more binaries is, one is responsible for to collect all hard disk drive. It's a FVC win32.exe and create the file drive under C Windows debug. You have just seen it before, right? And also enter files called AVC win32.exe. After execution of a short period of time, it is renamed as SVC win32.exe afterwards. And it put all of the data to capture all the connect email accounts, passwords, like the files I show you, and SAM information, system information, to the app data temp directory, and also the Windows debug data directory under C drive then. And also one more binary is ACV win32.exe is captured a screenshot for every 1,000 milliseconds. The injected MS, actually it should be VCR.dll, keeps on monitoring the C drive Windows directory, this debug directory. If there's any files there, they will send it out. So this is the summary. This is summary then. Actually, it targets the political party in Hong Kong, and the CNC server is in Hong Kong. But this China-made APT is, I could claim, this case is long-advanced persistent threat. Why? Not very advanced, because it contains some old baked routines. Win95, Win98, the programmers simply just add the new features. Maybe the boss asks him, okay, add 1 more features for Windows 7, okay, add 1 more routines. The old routines just left behind, just left aside, okay? And also there's the dropper is the same to another sample. I've got a .chm sample, and then the dropper is the same. Oh, I forget to show you something like in my, here. It's my first time, not first time, it's very rare to open the IDA in Mac. And also I have not renewed the license yet, expired. But anyway, then simply you always use IDA in the Windows environment. This DLL is the mscvr.dll. Then we could find it. We packet the file as cap. I need to use this one. Put it at the cap file. Yep. And also it's a very interesting. They put some different extension like .v2. You never know what is .v2 is. Another interesting stuff is the, not cap screen, but connect password. Can you shut it off, this one? Get password, for example, the get MSN. Messenger, MSN password. Also for Outlook password. Yeah, they're quite good for collecting different passwords from different software. So if you want to jump from APT, simply try to use this one, this software. But you can't do that, right? And yep, to do a password. And also, let me check some very interesting. Yep, this is called a password. And one more is like the cap screen. I need to show it because it used some old damn screen capture routine in the Visual Basic. So that's the reason why I say this is not really advanced. Sorry, then I need to hear. Yep, let's see. Here, right? Create DC is, I think it's traditional, but it's very old. Some kinds of capture the screen or write the bitmap stuff. It's already very old. Okay. So that's the reason I already showed you about that. Okay, let's continue. And the agenda doc is just packed with UPX. Xecure is used instead of some complicated encryption. Then download the payload in different stages. The most important is they use some unpopular file extension, like K2.v2, you never know. And I suppose the IPS or IDS, they don't recognize this kind of very weird format, right? And they simply build in, like dependent on the built-in libraries. And I found that they use the proper sequence set up by CNC server to manage the victim. This is the, we could conclude, I have got two samples, and I found that their droppers are the same. You find here, this is the agenda.doc. This another one is another executable for my collector sample of .chm sample. You find it? They're nearly the same, except this broke, okay? So I suppose they will just use the same droppers for different teams, or even the same team. This is the timeline my fellow Van2 has drafted. Actually, the green one is the sample .chm sample. The red one, the red one is the agenda.doc I present here the case. We have found that the PU build time of the .chm sample, and then we could find the agenda.doc, the build time, is near the same, near is around the time. It's April, between April and July. And we will find that also the phishing mails and also the phishing mails received and the build time, the MAC time, and also report time is around the time, around the same. Near that period in July, between July and June and July. Yeah, this is my dog. So we think this is from the same dropper, same generator, and also mutest name is also good, useful to identify the APT sample or version. And this case analysis simply supplements the tracking GhostNet reports and also the median report, because they do some high level, just describe the process, but we do the reverse engineering and the further analysis, then it's much more good, give more details to you. And afterwards, as a malware analyst, we will find that do we need to analyze 10,000 samples from the single task force? It's too time consuming. Can you back to the office and say, boss, I got a sample. I need to close the door for 3 days and analyze the sample like that? I suppose you should be fired, right? 3 days and analyze it? No, you should know that how to respond, what's the characteristic, right? And also, do you think about whether you get a sample and you think that you are already target? No, then this is kind of traditional thinking or intellectual before, because when we receive the malware, we don't think it's target or not. Another case 2 is calling Mr. X again. He's very free and always check email and always get this kind of target attack, but I want to help. And there's another file name called official reporter list from the Legislative Council News. These are official email. This is the party extension. Then the Chinese is very official. The format is craft. And the most important thing is, if you trust Gmail, you suck. Okay? No problem? This is, the name is kind of official reporter list of the Legislative Council. Though you will open it. However, I need to analyze, right? Because he wakes me up in 6 o'clock. He needs to treat me drinks or dinner, okay? And also then need to say grasswood horse then. Do you know these two horse? Don't know? Anyone knows? Oh, you know it? Yeah, okay, get it. But don't speak it to the Chinese, okay? Okay, oh, no, just come here. Yeah, because I can't throw it. Yeah. Okay. These two lovely animals is kinds of motherfucker. Okay. Okay. But it's blocked in the China internet because they use the grasswood horse instead. Okay, in Chinese and also English. Okay. I also wrote this kind of door last year. You could read back my video. And after the analysis, we do the DNA analysis. This is what we want to do. I find the samples, the Excel samples, I upload to our engine called APT Disser. We find that these samples belongs to here. You find this is an evil circle. Very evil, you know. If you find you are targeted by this evil circle, please take care. Extreme care. Okay, this from China. Okay. This also from China. Okay. But these samples is from here. We group the clustering from here. And the different color means different years. Different kinds of year of the exploit of the build time years. Okay? The detailed analysis will be from Benson. It will be much more cool. This is the old version. Then we got the exploit name, the build time, and the group C. Yeah. And this is the analysis. You see it before. I don't want to take over it. This is about the group. The APT group is the dropper. Always the dropper. Analyze the dropper first. And then inject the DLL. Inject the DLL to the, inject the exe to the, DLL to the exe, iExplorer.exe. And this is the location of the CNC servers. 28.5% CNC server are located in China for this sample, for this group. And in Hong Kong, as I said, I always support Hong Kong as a CNC center in the Asia. So they got 28.57%. Okay. In Canada, it's not bad. They are on the third place. So we will soon review more about the analysis about our DNA clustering. For peace or warfare, Pen 1. For peace, I would like to put in thousands of points images as a cap file and put a debug folder and show my sincere, nice, peaceful mind to the CNC writer or the secrets on the right task force leader. You know, I'm very nice man. Okay. To enjoy the pawns and find me fanny. This is what's most important thing. Fights back. Okay, set up a CNC server, purchase malware pack, putting malicious PDF, document, Excels in a cap file, and they must open it. They must open it, right? They will read it, right? To see what's going on. It could be fun, excited. But I've not tried it yet. So we have the prompt from Chinese. Cooking beans on a fire kindled with beanstalk. The beans whip in the pot, originally born from the self-same roots. Why so eager to torture each other? You know, we can't do it the same against them, but we would like to see what could help to analyze and to see what we could help to this community. Special thanks to my VX fellows is Rantu and DDL and analyze these samples for me. And here, Rantu is very old guys, but he is very passionate to over the reverse engineering and analysis of sample and write a detailed paper. Then please stay tuned. I will publish it and let you know. Okay, Benson, your turn, man.
Yeah, I prefer to use here.
Yeah. I'm sorry then. I just leave out without take care about it.
Okay, on my part will be another 30 minutes. As you can see, Anthony, his personality is so aggressive, and I'm kind of the opposite. That's why when we work as a team, it's so fun to work together. Most of the time, Anthony enjoy doing a lot of manual analysis over these malwares. And actually in Taiwan, lots of researchers, we have been receiving tons of malwares every day. And then we do a lot of these manual work on daily basis. But this is really time consuming. As you can see, malwares are now in mass productions. So if you are doing this manually, then you are definitely falling behind. So this is why we really want to come up with automatic systems so that we can easily classify whether this is made by automatic tools or is actually made by human beings. APT groups, they are only being used once only and then throw it away. They will never show up again. If that's the case, then how we can go beyond these situations and then try to understand who are behind these samples. So we want to automate all these processes rather than doing this manually. And you guys might recall this slogan. Well, this is not ghost in the browser. Well, Google says ghost in the browser, so they are good at goes in the browser, but not goes in the networks. And this is what we think. APT is actually goes in a network. Once they get into your network, they try to stay there. So they are not like, fast in and fast out. They actually try to get into your network, and then they try to stick there, and then they never want to get out. So they try to stay inside, hide and seek, and then try to steal everything they can steal, and then try to escalate the privilege until they can steal more sensitive, more confidential data. In Chinese, that's how we written it, 网路里的鬼. The term was first defined by the U.S. Air Force. They call it advanced persistent threats, which we think is very appropriate because by being advanced, it's actually relatively compared to the victims. So it's not necessary that I have to use the most non-patch zero-day exploit in order to invade your system. As long as I know that you haven't patched these exploits, then I can invade you successfully. So this advance is more or less in a relative manner. While being persistent means that I'm really determined because I'm being supported, I'm being funded. In order to invade your network, it's actually part of my year projects. I really have to get into a network, otherwise I will not accomplish my missions. So that's how determined I will be. So all these victims, we can see that oftentimes they always have good security controls. They have good sense of security, and all these employees they actually have good eyes. They know how to see errors in these spellings, errors in these social engineering emails, but still they still get APT attacked and then successfully. Because there's really no way you can get away when you are being targeted by these APT task force because they are so determined, and the emails are written so well that they look just like exactly from a genuine person. That's why you see Google are being owned, ICE as well, and then many more. The reason we mention Stuxnet is because in order to launch the Stuxnet successfully, they actually attacked several companies in the science park in Taiwan in order to get a certificate so that they can sign these drivers. And then once they get these drivers, they sign these malware so that when people get attacked, the Windows will not alert when they install these malwares. And also Commodores. They invade Commodores to get all these certificates. So later on, when we actually get these APT emails, a lot of these APT emails are being digital signed and also verified by Commodores. So for these companies, we never want to be, they never want to be the headlines in these kind of situations. And of course, everyone knows this. And this chart is actually from McKinsey. They actually analyze a lot of data from IDC and also Bureau of Labor Statistics. From this chart, it's actually telling you that a lot of these large enterprises, they own lots of data, so much data that they never knew that they have this amount of data. For example, large enterprise typically own more than a terabyte of data. So that's hundreds and thousands of enterprise in the States. And in fact, also hundreds of companies more own than a petabyte. So you have so many data that is so juicy. These hackers, they just want to target you and then try to see how they can do APT on you. So if you have too much data, then you have to protect it well. Otherwise, a situation like Sony would happen again. So this is some samples that we share here, what we receive in Taiwan. And this is from real case. For example, a lot of professors in school, they would receive these on annual basis. For example, receive these kind of call for papers and also acceptance notifications from people pretending from the National Science Council, sending the malicious PDF to them. And this is from genuine email accounts, but that PDF is containing malware inside. But that couldn't be identified by any antivirus tools on the market, because definitely these APT task force, they would do this QA before they release these phishing emails. So it's really hard to teach how these professors can get away from these targeted emails, because there's definitely no way they can get away with their good eyes, because that's a very genuine emails. And also, these attackers, they will send you invitations, asking you to give a speech, asking you to give a talk. And then these people are also real people, some professions that really exist. And then again, you couldn't find all these malicious documents with existing antivirus tools. And these are the statistics numbers that we are receiving on daily basis in Taiwan. Roughly 20,000 suspicious emails are sent to gov.tw on per day basis. And then out of these, every month, about 4,000 to 500 are APT emails. And these are couldn't been identified by any antivirus on the market. So we can say that every month we can collect this amount of samples. So this is our research motivations. In the past, we see that these APT incidents happen again and again. This really implies that we need a better security controls, because this is out of control. Existing tools doesn't help. That's why incidents happen again and again. So we have to turn the table around. Otherwise, it's always the attacker in the dark and then the victims in the light. And we have no ideas who are attacking us. And then people also saying that APT is the new term, but old problems, and yet inevitable. Then that's really a very ironic situation, because if it's an old problem, then we got to have a way to encounter it. But then it seems so inevitable that we couldn't do anything with it. So we are thinking that actually we have so much security control right now, but none of these are designed to fight against APT issues. And then also because APT is highly targeted, it's very hard to collect these samples from the way how we collect viral samples. Right now, viral samples are being collected through honeypot or honeynet, but these APT samples will never reach all the honeynets that you deploy. So the only way you get APT is either through intelligence exchange or by really deploying some devices on these classified personnel's email box. Otherwise, you would never get these APT samples. So there is a Chinese saying that we must first sharpen our tools, otherwise you wouldn't see the attacks going on. So our research direction is that we want to analyze these samples so that we can see the groups behind these samples. In the past, it's always receiving the viral samples, and then we determine whether it's malicious or not. Then that's it. We never try to see who are behind these viral samples. So we stop at determining whether it's malicious or not, and that's really a pity. And then from these APT samples, we also want to see if we can find out what's their plan. So what's the correlation between these samples? And probably we can associate all these APT samples, seeing that, oh, they are actually all targeting at this particular group. So we can probably come up with their year plan on who are they targeting with. And then also from a single one-off attack, we also want to see the trend. Because by seeing the trend, you can see how advanced these APT task force are. You can see what kind of weapons they have been using. Because the weapons they use, they have to spend money to buy it. So you can see how well they are funded. And also you can see how persistent they are, how many years they have been in this cyberspace, and how active they are. Sometimes you see them being so active maybe for 1 year, but then they stay very silent for another year, but then all of a sudden become so active this year. So you can see all these trends very easily if you have automated tools. But if you only have one antivirus on your hand, then you can only see one-off attack once at a time. So we try to do digital forensics on all these APT samples. And these are some of the attributes we try to get from these samples. Just to name a few, for example, malware features, what exploits are being used. So usually we associate these exploits with CV numbers so that you know exactly what CV exploits are being used. And also the CNC networks that are being leveraged, because these CNC networks, they usually imply the stations that they deploy in different countries. And also the emails, who are they targeting? Who are they pretending they are? And what's the content inside the emails? And also the victim's background, and also the time of attack. Usually the time of attack would matter because they try to do social engineering. So for example, when they send the meeting notes, the meeting notes will be associated with, will be very close to the meeting time. So the time of attack it also matters. And how are we different from malware study in the past? Study in the past, they have an assumption that all the information they analyze are very 100% accurate. For example, if they do signature-based detection, they do exact match. So if you doesn't match this signature, the pattern doesn't match the signature, then they will say it's not malicious. So that's how antivirus does. And for behavior-based profiling, if your behavior doesn't match the profile they did, then they will say you are not exhibiting a malicious behavior. And if you are not exhibiting your malicious behavior in a sandbox environment, or you pretend not to exhibit the malicious behaviors, then they cannot profile your behaviors at all. So they have an assumption that they can see through you and they can observe the exact behavior you are exhibiting. But what we see is that malware doesn't behave that way, because they are usually packed, they are usually encrypted, and they are designed in a way that they don't want you to be analyzed easily. So you have to tolerate some errors inside, and that's why some of the theories that we use, they allow some errors and then allow some information being loose. For example, we use some rough set theory. So rough set theory is almost like the opposite of fuzzy. And then we also use data mining so that we can easily associate all these different attributes. And then we also use clustering so that later on you can see how we cluster all these different APT groups, and then etc. So we use a lot of mathematics to help us analyze our data. And then, of course, we not only use static approach. In case where static approach doesn't work, we also use dynamic approach. Our background comes from dynamic approach, so we know very well how to observe malware in a sandbox environment. We know very well how to trigger them in a dynamic environment, but we know that it's very time-consuming, and you cannot replicate you cannot replay the required parameters to trigger them. So dynamic approach is really the last actions that we will do. And so we will apply static approach first. So it's a multi-layers of technology that we will apply. And some challenges are for dynamic analysis. For example, they will do encryptions, they will do anti-sandbox, they will do domain functionalities. So they will not exhibit the behavior, they will sleep. They will detect if there's a mouse movements, or they will even try to communicate with the external networks. And if they couldn't communicate with the CNC server, then they will not do anything. So in those cases, you definitely have to do static analysis. And then on the static analysis part, we also implement lots of parsers, lots of static analyzers on our end. So we try to analyze all these PE codes, all these shell codes, and then all these known packers. So we implement all these well-known stuff, and then we do the static analysis part by ourselves. Later on, you can see the demo. Our performance for analyzing one APT samples using one computer is like 5 seconds to 7 seconds. And then we can finish the whole analysis. And the middle part is the data we're gonna extract it from these malware sample. You can see that if we can identify what exploit are being used, we will give it a name, for example, the CV number, and then what shell codes are being identified, and then what kind of CNC network are being used, and then also are there any suspicious structures. So we will also walk through the suspicious file structures. And then we will also try to locate any known malwares that are being used. So for example, the PE and also these code snippets. And then if we try to run it in a dynamic environment, we'll also try to say that, well, when it's being executed, where it would hook in the runtime environment, what registry key you will try to modify. Then if you are being compromised, then how you can try to remediate yourself. And then once we extract all this data from the samples, we will try to normalize it into APT attributes, because now we will try to do the clustering. So we will do the normalize first. And then this screenshot is actually to share the beauty of extracting all these stuff from the binaries. Of course, we can easily get all these binary doing it manually, but with a system, we can get this data very easily. And some of the interesting stuff we get from these binary strings is a new trend like this. Anyone used Plug before? Plug is very famous in Asia, but I think Twitter is more famous here in the States. Can you guys make a guess what this person is talking about here? This is definitely not a human language, right? Yeah, this one is being encrypted, but we actually found out all these conversations from the APT samples that we analyzed. We noticed that from all these APT samples, they tend to communicate with the plug. So if it's in the US case, they would tend to communicate with tweeters. And then they will communicate with different Twitter accounts, but they speak similar language, a language that we couldn't understand, but a language that they all encrypted with the same key. And if you decrypted the text, you will find out that it's actually a a CNC info. So they started not to put the CNC information inside the sample. They put the CNC information on these web applications, websites, so that they can easily get it through port 80s. And then they can easily redirect all these botnets activities easily. Once we get all these normalized data, we do the clustering. And when we do the clustering, all the mathematic methodology help us, for example, to pick up the important attributes. Before we apply, for example, before we apply rough sets, all these attributes are equal significance. But then after we apply rough sets will tell us that, for example, malware type is more significant than exploit type. And CNC server is even more significant than the other attributes. And what the coefficients should be. So we get a very nice formula for these attributes. And then based on these nice formulas, we come up with a good clustering on these APT task force based on the samples. And then we call that fingerprints for these APT task force. So they distribute so much APT samples to all these victims, but they have no ideas. Actually, they are also disclosing their fingerprints. So to make a common basis when comparing all these data, we actually use a common samples. So we use the sample from MITA. It's a public data, contagio dump. So there are about like 242 APT samples. So if you guys are interested, you can also download it from the MITA's website. That's the sample that we use. And we also compare our detection rate with antivirus. But before we mention the detection rate, let's see how the antivirus perform when they are scanning against these viral samples collected from honeypots. As I mentioned earlier, APT samples will seldom reach these honeypots. These are all made from automatic tools. So as you can see, all these antivirals perform very satisfactory, right? Almost like 100%, 99 point something. And this is from Shadow Server. They update these on a monthly basis. But then when it's applied on APT samples, antivirus really doesn't work well because they never get the signatures easily from these honeypots they deploy. So these samples hardly enter their laboratory. So usually the time when they get the signatures takes much longer than usual. So these data is what we tested 2 weeks ago. As you can see, most of the vendors, they fail to qualify more than 60%. And the one that we're gonna share with you online, the APT Deezer, that you can try online, and it's free available. This one has a detection rate of more than 94.6. And of course, it's not only on MITA samples. Once we announced this, so many people began to upload their APT samples as well. And you can see the graph becomes bigger and bigger. The community really contribute a lot. And then the overall APT task force graph becomes much larger than the original 200 something. So this is the clustering results. After we analyze all these samples, we actually can see the task force behind these samples. If you only analyze these samples individually, you have no idea which groups are behind these samples. But then when we use all the methodology that we mentioned, we actually can see that there is one group that is very big, which we call group A. Of course, we also have the geographical location, but it's too sensitive, so we don't mention it here. So you see group A, which is huge. And then you also see a second small one is group B, and then you see group C. So we will take the top three here and then give you more detailed data. And the different color here means that when these APT emails or these APT samples are being collected or hit the victims, so you can see their active time. For example, you look at the group A, you see that most of their active time is last year, 2010. And then for this year, they only have a few. This is based on MILA sample, so it's 242. But later on, you will see that after the communities submit lots of samples, you see the graph change dramatically. You see new groups coming up. So these are the top three. So for group A, you see they actually leverage CNC server like 23. And these are the weapons they have been using repeatedly. Some are pretty new. For example, this one. This one is the one that have been used to attack RSA. And then this one is group 2. And then this one is group 3. And then if you know the market price for all these exploits, then you can see how well they are funded. And this is the CNC servers they try to abuse. And you can see the countries are like Taiwan, US, Hong Kong. So these three dominate more than 50. So I would say that the reason Taiwan is being abused a lot is because the bandwidth in Taiwan is very stable and reliable. And geographically, it's very close in Asia. And also Hong Kong, Anthony mentioned, Hong Kong, they respect your privacy so much that when you do something evil, they don't even try to disclose your privacy when you host a machine in ISP. So and then more than that is you can also see the attack graph for every malware that being used. So you can see what happened when you double click the attachment. And you can also see what happened when you got infected. And even the bug comments that are involved inside these APT group. And these bug comments are very helpful in identifying the APT task force as well. And if we only look at APT group A alone, you can see these group A highly rely on CNC server in Taiwan. So if we look at three groups together, Taiwan is only like 20% to 30%. But if you look at group A only, more than 50%, like 50% of their CNC are located in Taiwan. And this one is interesting. This one is group E. And this one we also identify it's actually from it's from Korea. The reason that we can identify this is from the language they actually compile it with. And then the interesting part is that all the samples that we receive from these are being signed by Komodo certificate. And when we submit to Virus Total, only one antivirus can detect that. So it's a very low-profile APT attack. So later on, I will do a demo of the system so that you can have a feel what you can expect when you do it online, and also something that we are still working on. So from the meta sample sets, we can easily identify the major task force behind these samples. So the more sample you submit, then you can easily identify how many different groups are actually behind all these samples. And then you can easily identify how many weapons they have been purchased, how many different exploits they have been using repeatedly, utilized. And then one interesting thing is that they keep on changing the exploits they use, but the embedded malware tend to stay the same. So inside these exploits, the malware they use, what we call remote administration tools, they tend to use the same RAT tools. So these embedded malware is limited to a few one. So for example, in the States, it will be probably like a poison ivy, will be a very famous one. And then we also found out with these APT samples, we actually extract hundreds of attributes. But among these attributes, very, very significant ones are CNC servers and malware use. And less significant ones is the exploit type. Even though APT task force, they will use dozens of different exploit types. And if we look at the language used in these APT samples, one thing that we can say is like 1/4 of the samples are from China, and then some samples is from Korea, and then we also have samples from Russia and France. And then if you look at what CNC servers are being abused, the top one will be Taiwan, US, and then Hong Kong. And then this one is readily available online, where you guys can try. It's when you upload a binary, it will give you a graph, and then it will also tell you whether it's an APT file or not, or it's only a normal virus. So if it's only a normal virus, then it will not put you into the graph. So this graph will only draw an APT task force graph. And in this case, you see that gradually we see more and more APT emails are being signed by Comodo certificate. So you see emails have been digitally signed and then verified. And then this is from a very new group. Previously, we mentioned that green color indicates it's this year. So this group starts being very active from this year. And they don't exist in meta sample. They just show up after the communities start to submit their APT samples. And then, so I will demo this one here. So this one is also an APT email sent from someone I would trust, because it's sent from an academic institution, and basically it's saying that greeting something, and then it's also a PDF. And as you can see that Google doesn't alert me with virus emails. And also when I save as in my computer, the Microsoft antivirus Secure Essential also doesn't alert me as well. But then this is the APT teaser that you guys can try. I then can upload this one. Okay, it says that your sample is of APT grade, so it's a good quality. It means that it's not a normal viral sample. And then it's from group A. So it not only tells you that it's malicious. Remember that when we try to open it inside Google, Google doesn't tell us it's malicious, and also our antivirus tool doesn't tell us it's malicious. So these three tools, of first it tells us it's malicious, and it also tells us that we are being targeted by the biggest APT task force. So since we are part of their plan, they will never give up until they are successful. And as you can see, this graph is much bigger compared to my previous slides, because the more the community contribute, the bigger the graph will be. And then we also have, what we are still developing is, we try to put this together with like a dashboard, so that you can see a more holistic view to see the trend. And then we also try to associate it with Google Map, which is very fun. For example, we try to see Taipei, and then later on we try to make it together with the street view. So probably you can see a hacker is sitting there on the street. Yeah. Real time. And this is something the US can do easily, right? Because you guys got a satellite. Okay, yeah.
Okay. Pretty cool, right? Actually, if you begin a CNC or a deploy CNC, or you locate it, man, actually it's my honor to work with Benson, Bertman, and PK to perform the Xecure lab, than to give this research like that. Actually, for me, you know, as Benson said, every time we do the manual analysis, is quite very time consuming, and even from the same generator, we can't respect what is the task force behind. We need to identify the evils behind, you know. Otherwise, you never just every day you take a routine job to analyze. It's meaningless. We need to escalate the analysis level, one up more level, so you can make your plan, strategic plan on your how to respond to incidents and how to make the controls, instead of just buying different boxes, firewalls, IPS, and you say you have done the control. This is not our story in the future. Oh, not yet, actually. Actually, I simply get how to get the PowerPoint. Yeah, I have not used the Windows environment for many years. Oh, final words then. Actually, we could reach us at www.xecure-lab.com, and we keep collecting samples and enhance the capability to analyze and observe APT DNA family in more accurate manner. This is what we want to do. And deep technical analysis of our sample is still needed, right? But it's helpful for DNA footprint analysis. It's an incremental efforts we wanted to make, and we would like to publish we will publish our follow-up message at DEFCON Speaker Corner, and together we make the homeland secured. And also special thanks to our members and also like Benson, PK, and also Bertman and other fellows in Secure Lab teams and Chiu groups members and UXRL members and our family and fellows. This is our email address, and also our blog. And one more thing is, Blackhat, we will board members. Are you convinced yet? Thank you.